goes insane, hair goes insane. My bag goes insane for my soul. My bag goes insane for my soul.
Shorty!
Alright, so I'm with my girl here, Danielle. Super dope, but no, I'm just this is another episode of Inside Team Shorty where I get in depth into reality, the truth, and MMA behind the scenes of the sport. It's crazy, and you were here with a bunch of questions, just like, and you're a fighter coming up as well. There's a lot of fighters, whether they're amateur, they're pro, they're at the highest level, they're at the lowest level, or even kids just trying to join. I get questions every single day of what should I do with this, what should I do with that, and that's originally why I started the series. So please, whatever questions you have, which you said you drove a good ways away, and you had multiple times to write questions, ask away. And if I can help, that would be dope.
Perfect. So my first question for you is, why did you start your YouTube channel?
So why did I start my YouTube channel? For me, was literally to do this, to be a big brother, to be a father figure, to be a mentor and help people. Given my brother was 8 years older, my father wasn't the best role model, but he got me into fighting. And my mother pushed me to do everything, which was awesome, but she also didn't know how to do certain things, at least when it came to sports, on overall continuing it to the next level. So for me, I had a bunch of experiences, whether going from different gyms, American Top Team, Jackson Wink, Rufus Sport, Training Lab. I mean, the gyms go for days, and the number of bodies go for days, and the levels, Joanna, TJ, Cub. I mean, it's amazing. And then you spar with amateurs as well, and figure stuff out, and they always ask you questions. So for me, instead of repeating myself and answering the same question, it's like, let me help people and go, this is a series that I believe can be helpful. I have 26 episodes before this that I did by myself on my phone, where it's like, how do you be a great professional fighter? How do you deal with nervousness before a fight? Is it good to be confident before a fight? Is it, like, what are these little things? Some people call me like, dude, I'm so scared, or I don't have the talent. It's like, no, I don't have the talent either, dude. I'm 5'4". Like, I'm definitely not the biggest dude in my weight class. I'm not the strongest in my weight class. I'm definitely not the fastest. But what do I win?
Harder.
I work hard. It's the heart. It's the strategy. It's a technique. It's all these different things. I mean, my teammate Julian Robertson is easily the most unathletic person I know, but she dominates. Yeah, I know, right? Literally, poor Julian. But she dominates in the cage every single time she fights. Why? She trains her ass off, and it's a mentality from it. So it's one of those things that everyone's like, oh, I didn't have these skills. I grew up losing. My first MMA fight, I lost. First kickboxing, first movie, I lost every single fight. If I would have quit then, I never would have known. So this YouTube series might be that experience for people to be like, I went through it. Maybe you should do this. And there's only two ways people learn from what I've learned, at least: mentorship and experience. I learned through experience, so let me mentor you so you don't have to do and make the same mistakes. Hopefully this helps people.
Perfect. No, that's awesome, and I'm glad that you're doing this. Every time I see you, I feel like I learn like a whole lesson about life.
I'm trying. Learn something.
You're always teaching, so this is like natural for you. My next question here is, you've sparred with almost everyone. I know you sparred with Khabib. You sparred with Nunes. Like, you sparred with everyone. Who is someone you haven't sparred with that you want to, like, that you fangirl a little bit over?
So I think there's two people I've always wanted to spar with. One boxing wise and one MMA. Boxing wise, I love Manny Pacquiao. He's literally my favorite fighter of all the sports. He's the reason why I have my foundation. He's the reason why I bumped up in weight classes. He's the reason why I try to be as humble as possible because of him. Go out to the cage waving and having fun and smiling because it's just what it is. And he's a little guy beating all the bigger guys. So he is a man that I've never, for some reason, he follows me on Instagram, which, please don't unfollow me. He's been following me for like 4 years, so yay, maybe it was an accidental typo, but
it wasn't an accident, Shorty.
Both him and his foundation follow me, which is weird, but I love it. It's amazing.
Too humble. It's an accident.
Dude, I'm so happy, but it's fucking Manny Pacquiao. But I've always just wanted to spar with him and move around, not to test my skill, but like, oh, I know I could beat him. It's just more of that's how I show my respect. Again, I've sparred with so many great fighters. It's more of just, again, Khabib at the time when I sparred with him, he was 190. I weighed like 145. Is that technically the point of sparring? No, but it's fun, and he taught me so much, and our respect grew. Yeah.
He spoke English.
Yeah, he spoke English. Given much better now, but he spoke English, and he did break me. He's one of those guys that was like, I must break you, and do all these things. Like, he's smart. He's very, very smart. So when he was doing stuff to me, it wasn't just being a big guy and beating me up. He was doing scientific stuff, using physics against me and my size. I'm like, damn. Like, anytime I got taken down, I'm like, please show me that. And it's the same thing with going with Manny Pacquiao. If I ever go with him, it's like, please show me this so I can hopefully use it. Even my fighting style now, like one of my favorite combinations is jab, cross of the body, come up, hook. That's Manny Pacquiao stuff, whether it's on orthodox or southpaw guys. And the other guy is not TJ, excuse me. I've already sparred with him plenty of times. I don't want to spar with him anymore. Yeah, I was like, I don't want to spar with him anymore.
I'm done with him.
is Demetrius Johnson.
Okay.
He is literally the best guy in our weight class. You know, even so today, outside of his prime, trying to show he is the best in the world, going to 1 FC from the UFC. I think 11 title defenses. And I've met him. He's tiny. Like, he's like this.
Shorter than you?
He's shorter than me, and he's skinny. He could probably fight 115, like a straw weight. So it's one of those things. It's like, how are you so dominant at this weight class? Given this probably a weight class you shouldn't be at, but you're so healthy and durable. How are you doing this, still competing? Even in 1 FC, flyweight is technically 135 or 61 kgs for everyone overseas. So it's like he's still competing at the highest level against big guys and still beating them. How? Boxing's a little different because you can punch, you can move. But then you get taken down. Now you got a fat dude on top of you. Now you got somebody holding you down. It's a struggle. So learning from those two guys and just having that respect to spar with them and go, like, thank you for making me the man I am today, because you both have inspired me to hopefully pursue the same exact goals.
Wow, so it's not just like, oh, I want to start them. It's like inspired by them.
It's inspired. Like one of my biggest role models, another guy was the green and white Power Ranger, Jason David Frank. Like, Tommy Oliver was my guy. Yeah. He sponsored me, and then I met him in person, and we just got to hang out for a day. I was like, this is literally the best day of my life. Like, usually I'm the attention whore, where I'm just like, no, shut up. I want to talk, and I'm just like, I just want to listen to you. Like, I don't care what you talk about, I just want to listen to you, and that's how it was, and I learned so much from that.
Wow, that's amazing. So, Shorty, how did you get your nickname?
2 reasons. One, because I'm short.
But did you name yourself Shorty?
No, it actually is a family legacy. So you know how like the father names the son the same name, like my father's name is Jose, my name's Jose, and given my brother's name's Jose, which is weird. But it's the fact of my brother skipped a generation of the nickname. My dad was in a gang, and in the gang was called Harrison Gents, and their color was black and purple, so the G meant gent. So whatever your nickname was, you had G at the end of it. So it could be like Kong G, Top Cat G, Shorty G, and for my father, he was Shorty G. So me growing up, anytime I hung out with my father, they're like, you're little Shorty G, what's up, man? And they would always like mess with me and whatever, and that's how it was. So automatically, I grew up with the nickname Shorty. Given no one's always gonna say the full nickname, so Shorty was the thing. Plus, naturally, I went to school in my neighborhood, and you being from Miami, a bunch of Latinos down there, generally there's a lot of the same name.
Yeah.
Me being Mexican, Puerto Rican in Chicago, especially in the Mexican neighborhood I'm from, there's a bunch of Jose's. And there's a bunch of Home Depots, so when you say Jose, like, everyone turns around regardless if your name's Jose or not. Like, they're like, oh, what, work? I'll work for you. It's like, no. So for me, I was like, I need a nickname. One of my friends is already named Chepe, and like so many different things, so it's like, people just called me Shorty because of my height, and it fit. So it's like, I earned that nickname because of my height, and then I earned that nickname because of the legacy. Yeah. So now fighting, and given my father being gone, instead of being Little Shorty G, I've kind of upgraded, and now I'm just Shorty G.
Wow. Awesome. Well, so you got a little taller.
I got 1 inch taller in my pride, that's for sure.
Yes, definitely. So, Dean Thomas. Why he's not excited. I'm excited to talk about Dean. Dean Thomas. I'm so excited. My first memory of Dean, he actually took the time to come to the amateur team at Top Team and just teach. Like, he didn't just teach us like how to do stuff, but like teach us about life. So he actually took the time out of his busy schedule and sat with us, and then he saw, this is going on like 2-3 years ago, how bad my jab was. So he pulled me aside, he took out his keys, and he held his keys up, and he's like, catch my keys, and just kept like grasshopper, like young grasshopper, just like pure basics for like 30 minutes, just jab, and like I'll never forget, like someone like him at his cowboy did not have to take the time, but he did. So that's my first memory. What is your first memory of Dean?
Even with me in the house now, being a decently high caliber fighter, he teaches me the basics every single day. He's like, no, do this, do this. And I'm like, damn, I forgot the basics. You know, like sometimes you overlap it because you want to get so complicated. Some simplicity is best, and that's Dean's game. He's like, I want you to be so good at something that no matter if they know, you're going to do it anyways. That's how I was in college wrestling. That's how I'm going to try to be in MMA. And Dean's definitely helping that. My first memory of Dean, I remember I saw him, I was like, oh man, I gotta hide my stuff. I was like, Dean, I was gonna say Dean and I mess around a little too much. Like, this is probably the most racist, stereotypical household I've ever been in, where we just talk smack to each other, and it's amazing. But I'm really good friends with Jillian, and given she would be like, hey, do you want to drill at 7 p.m. just you and I was like, yeah, sure, we would drill. She would show me the stuff that Dean was showing her to get ready for her fight, and I'm like, damn, this is good stuff. And then eventually she would have fights but not have a body to go with, and so he's like, hey, do you mind helping Jillian? So I was literally just being used to be, you know, the dummy. And in the process, it's like he wasn't trying to teach me, but he's letting me get my turns as well. So it's like Jillian would do 3 sets of whatever, then it's my turn. So we'd go back, and I would like try to catch on and try to be like, all right, I gotta take full advantage of this because I'm not Dean's boy, not yet. And then eventually I just became Jillian's full-time practice partner. And then when he left American Top Team, he's like, come like train with us. And I was like, oh, like Dean fucks with me, okay. You know, like, because Dean's a very personable person. Like, he doesn't want anybody in his circle. This is like Jillian's his girl, that's it. And he doesn't want anyone messing up her life, his life. He wants a positive environment. So when he left, when he invited me, I was like, oh, this is dope, you know, like it's just a great experience. And now I live with him and train with him full time. You know, I got to train with him twice this morning before he left on his busy schedule. He works for ESPN Radio. I think he's going to New York tonight. And then, you know, it's like he's always somewhere. And honestly, he's an older me, you know, so being able to be mentored by a person who, you know, wants to, in a sense, change the world and be positive and do certain things, like it's amazing. And I still know nothing about Dean. Like, dude, I live with the guy. I know not besides his personality. He's to himself. Like, if you ask him, he might tell you, or he just might say, just mind your business. So I was like, damn. So I don't talk to him in that sense of like his personal life. He'll vent to me every once in a while, which is dope because I know the friendship's growing. But I never even, still today, I've never seen one of his full fights. I've never seen his Ultimate Fighter show. I never even knew he was in the UFC when I was started to work with him. I was like, I thought it was some dude that was teaching MMA. I was like, all right, cool. And I'm like, oh, Dean Thomas. Why have I heard that name before? And then I see him on shows, see him on Dana White's Contender Series, and all these different things. I'm like, damn, okay, all right, good for you, you know? So my first memory of Dean was literally just working with Jillian and learning these different aspects. I don't really have anything specific, but Dean and a handful of other guys, Tiago, Mike, and all these other guys, they weren't, you know, I had coaches, but other guys, you know, were focusing on, you know, Dustin and Mazadon, all these bigger names. So having someone like Dean really helped me out was...
so they doubled down on you.
Yeah, really doubled down with Jillian. I went up to Wisconsin with him and all that stuff. So, like, we've traveled, and it's been an amazing time.
That's amazing. I love that the friendship blossomed. So, you were absolutely not camera shy at all.
Nah.
Were you always like this?
So, it's funny because I tried to do acting and modeling when I was a kid. The modeling was fine, but the acting was the hard part because I had to read a script. And I was never good at trying to follow something down to a T. So I would always get shy on camera when it came to a script. But improv, I can do that all day. Even if you give me a script, if I can outline it and just have fun with that and roll, I can do it. But when I was a kid, I was always scared of the camera when it came to an actual, I had to do something. But cameras, I don't know, again, I always called myself a little attention whore, so I was just like, yeah, like, if it was in front of a camera, I've done karaoke in front of thousands of people, I've done...
Thousands?
You know, I've done speeches in front of thousands of people. Like, it's just random stuff. You know, I've done just anything. I've joined concerts, I've joined, like, random shit where they're just like, Shorty Torres here, jump on stage. I'm like... Cool, you know, I've done, I'm really good at just speaking to people and being as real as possible. It's funny because in speech class, I got a B, and I think I got like a B minus, and the lady's like, oh, you didn't follow your script. I was like, I don't have a script, you know, like I don't have a paper, I just kind of roll with it and have fun. It might be a little, you know, scrambled, but I enjoy myself. So, especially as a fighter, now in the social media age, look at Jake Paul. You know, he's not a fighter, but he talks so much smack. He gets to act as the random personality. Colby Covington, started to create this random personality on camera. Now he's famous and popular. Before, he was still a great fighter, but no one knew him until he opened up his mouth, until he started to get on camera. So for these fighters that have anxiety or suffer from just being an introvert naturally, it's like, you gotta, Dean is an introvert naturally, but he's like, I'm gonna store up enough energy for this camera, and then once the camera turns off, he's like, deuces, and then he takes off, you know, and then restores back up and does it again. So for me to be in front of camera, it's just been fun, free, and open, and it's hard for people to do that, but you have to know that, look at it in speech class. How many people in speech class actually wanted to take speech class?
Most people don't.
Most people. If there was at least 20 people, maybe 2 of them were like, I picked it as elective. It's like, that's not the case. So why are you so nervous when you get on stage? Oh, because everyone's hoping you fuck up?
Yeah, really not.
I was like, I kind of hope you fuck up, but it'd be funny. You know, it's not like, oh, the end of the world, you know? So a lot of people overthink it. I did it with acting. I literally cried on camera because I was like messing up my lines because I overthought it. And it's like, once I started to be careless and be free, it's like,
then it all came together.
It all came together, it became natural. So, you know, for all those people that don't want to take speech class, most people don't. So if you mess up, one, people don't know your script. People don't know the paper you wrote. So who knows that you messed up? And then 2, who cares? No one wants to be there anyway. So just be free. You know, and it's natural. You're gonna trip. You're gonna fall. You're gonna stumble. You're gonna stutter. You're gonna do whatever. So just have fun and then see where it goes from there.
Definitely. Good advice. Awesome advice. Round of applause. So, if a kid came up to you, which happens all the time because you're always doing seminars, always with, you're always like the coach. What would you do? No.
Are you my dad? No.
Maybe.
Yeah. I don't think I have any kids.
He doesn't think he has any kids. If a kid came up to you and said he wanted to fight, would you tell them, yes, go for it? Or would you be like, hell no?
There's a lot of kids that come up to me and ask me that, whether they're kids, teenagers, young adults, and every answer is technically the same, but also a little different. Depending on your style, depending on what you do, if you're brand new, if you're already in it, depending on your age, and where you're at in life. Boxing is labeled as a poor man's sport. Like, that's the way you get out of the neighborhood. HBO actually has a real fantastic commercial where it's like a homeless man saving up all his change so he can pay for boxing lessons, and then he boxes in the streets, makes all this money, then now is able to buy gear and all that stuff, and then has his first professional fight, and then it ends there. But it's like, that's your way to make a better living. For me, fighting was my way out of the neighborhood. If that's your way out, dude, that's your last resort. Have fun with it. But the hardest part about the sport is, and I've learned sadly from again experiences, is you're gonna lose family, you're gonna lose time with friends, you're gonna lose friends, you're gonna lose relationships. Again, I was engaged in this long distance stuff, plus arguing over the phone and other stuff, and just me being a bad boyfriend just doesn't help. You know, so it's like, it's one of those things that I'm so focused on my career, sometimes you gotta sacrifice all these things. I don't have my family here with me. I'm literally alone in the house. If you guys weren't here, I'm trying to do business stuff, I'm trying to hustle, I'm trying to make money. So when it comes to life in general, you're sacrificing a lot of your youth to get to this point. Plus, getting punched every single day, you're probably losing days of your life too, you know? So it's the fact of, if you're gonna do this, make sure you're not doing this for the money. Make sure you're doing this for fun. Logic has it on one of his albums, I think it's called The Incredible True Story, where someone's speaking and he's just like, if you're doing it for the money, don't do it. Because eventually the money's gonna go. Eventually you're gonna be too consumed by the money and you're gonna lose everyone. It's like, do it because it's fun. Just like your teachers is telling you when you're a kid, what do you want to do? Just make sure it's fun. So it's like you're never working a day in your life. As cheesy as that sounds, it's true. Especially fighting. I am tired as shit right now. Like, I did 2 practices this morning, doing interviews all day, had to do a 2-hour drive or an hour drive to Boynton to teach a seminar, and then drive back. Like, it's exhausting, but this is my life. So I have to find different perspectives and make it fun, make it motivating, and find out my initial goal. My goal is to be a world champion. My goal is also to show my family and people in my neighborhood, if I can do it, this Shorty from Chicago can do it, why can't they? So for when kids come up to me and go, hey, I want to fight, I have to make sure, 1, you want to do it because it's fun. And 2, what are your reasons for doing it? If it's to make money, 100% don't do it, because you understand, talking to 2 different fighters, and you know, bare knuckle and MMA and boxing, man, our sport doesn't pay shit.
Nope.
You know, and unless you have a name like a YouTube star, then you're not getting paid much. And I mean, I barely made $100,000+, and that took me 5 years. You know, it's like, people are like, oh, you have 2 Titan FC belts, you must be a millionaire. I was like, my belts were worth more than my paycheck.
Yeah.
I was literally ready to pawn my belt to just like stay afloat at times.
Wow.
You know, so it's like this sport isn't about money, and this sport isn't about filling your ego and this and that. It's honestly, as violent as it is, it's trying to help people, motivate people, but in the same process, have fun, live your life, and maybe accomplish some goals in the long run.
Definitely.
So I don't want my kids to do it, but that's because I went through the harder upbringing to get there. But you know, even if my kids wanted to do it, I'm not going to tell them no.
Yeah.
You know, if they really wanted to do it, hey man, you're probably going to do it behind my back, so might as well go in there and do it. I didn't want to, or my father didn't want me to do wrestling, and eventually I did it. You know, then he's like, oh, you're such a good wrestler. It's like, yeah, you know, so eventually it's one of those things that I'm not a fan of it, because I don't like the violence. I deal with a lot of pain, a lot of depression because of fighting, a lot of everything negative. But that's also part of the sport, and I think that's also part of anything you do in life, so might as well make it fun.
Yeah, definitely. It's like we're the gladiators of this day's age, so they look up to us. But some people don't know what goes on behind the scenes, the day-to-day, like sad. Like, today sucks.
It's tough.
Yeah.
You know what I mean, like, and you saw earlier, Juliana had problems with muscles in her back, and you have problems like that. You know, like for me, my legs are exhausted because I run so much. And I'm just like, I don't want to get up and move.
And her pain was because I knew it.
Yeah.
Her pain wasn't from pain; it was frustration.
Yeah, it was frustration.
She couldn't do what she normally can do.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow. Like she was crying not because of pain. She was just pissed that she couldn't make a certain move that she did before.
Yeah.
Because that's there.
And I've gotten emotional too, where like after practice I go upstairs and just cry because sparring didn't work out well, or you know, whatever the case may be, or I'll fuck up the rest of my day sometimes. You know, so it's how you look at things and how you train, but especially for kids growing up, make sure it's fun.
Yeah.
Once it's not fun anymore, cool, let's do something different.
Yeah,
but if this is your niche, then maybe I'm gonna try to push you a little more and see where it goes. If you're a teenager, again, same thing as a kid, like if it's your niche and you're good at it, awesome. Maybe it's just a phase. You know, teenagers obviously we go through our phases, but then as an adult, where are you in life?
Yeah.
Are you an educated person? Dude, stick with education, please. Do whatever your education provides you with. But if you're an older person that just, you know, needs to make money, this is your last way out, then yeah, dude, go for it. Because this is your way out of the neighborhood. Fighting's a poor man's sport, let's live it up.
Yeah, definitely. So, you actually are a man of many talents. You do your YouTube series now. You're Titan FC commentator. You travel with different camps. What is your next steps after fighting? Like, are you gonna stay in the fight world? Are you gonna move out of the fight world? Like, what would you like to do if you weren't fighting anymore?
I don't know. I don't plan to live a long life, but for me, I hope I don't make it to retirement. But for me, it's one of those things that I'm trying to just keep on pushing as long as my body can go. But once fighting is over, I mean, I already work with businesses for marketing. So I try to get people like sponsored. I'm almost like Jillian's manager sometimes, and even like other people's managers, because I get them sponsors, artwork, stuff like that. I try to do that for myself, sell products. The main reason, there's two reasons why I started the sport. One, because my family wanted me to fight, so I wanted to live out their dreams. They just never had the opportunity. And the second one was, I'm trying to think, I had a second one. Well, there it goes. No, but I'm trying to think.
That happens to all. I
punch in the head too much, so I space out. But I'm trying to think of my two reasons. Oh, okay. So my first reason was to live out my father's dreams, my mother, my brothers, because they never had the opportunity to play professional anything. And the second thing is, obviously, damn it, blanked out again. No, the second thing is...
No! Bring it back!
No, the second thing is, I always wanted to be an idol, role model. Like, I was... My biggest thing growing up was Goku, you know, the White Power Ranger, you know, Jedis, all these positive things, Michelangelo from Ninja Turtles, like all these super positive things. So for me, going in there, I just want to be happy and positive and show people that even though I'm doing something violent, like you can still push through it. Like, again, another Shorty in the neighborhood making it out. So me fighting is to show people that, like, if I can do it, so can you. For me, fighting is I can be as positive as possible and show positivity from something so violent. And I want to be a teacher. I've always wanted to be a big brother. Sadly, I have one brother and two sisters all older than me, so I'm the baby. I don't have any kids at 28, so I'm like, damn it, I want to be like a big brother. I want to be a father. I want to be a mentor. So for me right now, my ability is to be a mentor. So I want to own a gym. I feel like my career is literally just to get me to that level. So I can be a coach that goes, I've literally experienced almost everything. I've been dropped. I've been knocked out. I I've almost been submitted, but I've been stuck in submissions. I've had a broken hand in a fight. I've tore my MCL in a fight. I've had multiple, lacerations in fights where I'm bleeding. I've had, there's so much trauma. I've had muscle injuries during fights where I can't even compete the next day. So much stuff to where hopefully I can relate to these fighters and help a broad, spectrum of fighters. So for me, I've always wanted to be a coach. So that's my ultimate goal. We'll see how long COVID lasts.
Yeah.
But hopefully by the age of 35, I have my own gym. Hopefully in Chicago and possibly different places. But in Chicago, where I have my own team, I don't need it to be a big team. I don't need it to be, American Top Team, Trenton Jackson Wink, all these. If it gets to that point, amazing. Mm-hmm. But I want to care about people like Dean cares about us anytime we go in the cage, because that's almost like him stepping in there as well.
Yeah. Definitely.
So I want to be a teacher.
Aw, look at you.
I want to be a gym teacher, but I ended up not passing my ACT with a high enough score, so I didn't feel like taking it again.
Oh no.
So, yeah.
So, you just recently went through a really bad time in your life. You went through the grieving process of your dad. Mm-hmm. What is one of the things you would give to motivate someone who's going through that? Because it's really, most people don't get advice, at least from someone who's gone through it. They get advice from someone who has, you'll be okay, outsiders. So someone who's gone through it.
It's the worst fucking thing.
They don't know what it's like.
What did Chappelle say? He made a joke. When he retired, he made a joke about saying that everyone was thinking he was going through depression or doing this when he left the show and lost a $50 million contract. Some guy's like, "Hey, Dave, you just gotta keep your chin up." He goes, "Word, that's what I was doing. Got my chin too low. Mind your own fucking business." And it's true. Given, I know you're paying your condolences, your respects, and that's awesome. But if you don't know the situation, don't give out your advice fully. You can be like, "Hey man, just keep your head up. Hopefully everything works out well." But that's about it. Don't maybe give me a recommendation, but don't tell me what to do. For people grieving, and we did this in the last episode, everyone's very different. I cope with comedy, and I cope sadly with spending an obnoxious amount of money and eating. Some people resort to drugs or alcohol. Some people some people want to kill themselves. I mean, I've talked to you, I've talked to Chris, where there's literally moments in that life, especially immediately after, where you're just like, I don't want to live anymore. This is so bad. I'm not going to end myself. Man, if a car was about to hit me, I wouldn't move. It sucks. And whether it's you're going through grief, whether you're going through a divorce or separation with somebody, given I was going through that at the same time, which really sucked because I was engaged, and then obviously being released from the UFC, which is another part of my depression. There's a lot of things that people go through, and I think it's the simplest way to say it. Newton's third law. A body at rest has to stay at rest. A body in motion has to stay in motion. So if you're laying in bed all fucking day, what's going to happen? You're going to lay in bed all day, today, tomorrow, you're going to keep on going. And I put this on Twitter as well. It's like one of my friends was like, "You're always so positive." I was like, "I have no choice but to be." They're like, "Why?" I was like, "Because I was negative before. And when I was negative, I was all alone." It's crazy how when you're so sad, people draw away from you because they don't want that energy. You got to be the positive soul, and I'm not saying you got to fake it to make it and do all these things. You got to get up and you got to walk, especially when somebody's grieving. And again, Full Metal Alchemist, we brought this up in the last one. The whole show's about bringing their mother back, or at least it started that way. And it's like they don't grieve and aren't sad about her anymore. They're just like, we're not going to cry because it's going to make her cry. We don't want the heavens crying. It's the same thing. Like if I were to die, I understand people are going to cry, but I don't want you to be angry after me. I don't want you to be sad, depressed. I want you to live your life to the fullest and use my memories and use hopefully my encouragement to live a better life. But don't end yours because mine ended. Maybe yesterday was my day. It doesn't mean your day's today as well. Make your day tomorrow. Alright, we're back. Sorry, the battery died. But man, when it comes to grieving, everyone's different. I don't know how you grieve. I don't know how he grieves, but we're all different. I can give my advice because we can relate with that. But I'm a very, extrinsically motivated person. I believe you are a little bit as well. Chris, you more of an introvert or extrovert?
I'm a mixture, man.
And again,
I'm an extrovert. I like talking to people.
And so for me, one of my coping mechanisms was the vent. I rekindled a relationship with friends, with family, and actually one of the stories that I have with that, but I'll get to that right now. But it's just talking to people and now show my appreciation. Do I wish I would have showed my father more appreciation, spent more time with him? Yes. But I feel like it doesn't matter how much time I would have spent, doesn't matter how much love I would have given him. I still would have felt the same way.
Yeah.
You know, so it's like I did what I did. My father was proud of me.
Yeah.
I'm continuing a legacy, and that's what I need to do. And that's something I found in a different perspective. Time doesn't change anything. Like, that pain is always there. Your perspective changes over time. Of like, damn, I need to continue this legacy. Thank you, Dad, for teaching me all this. Thank you, Mom, for teaching me all this, and keep on pushing forward. The reason why I say you need to, reach out to people that you really care about. I think it was like 4 months later, one of my really, really good friends, Izzy, passed away, and was my age. Was about to be our 10-year reunion, and I literally saw him maybe a month after my father passed, and I was like, dude, I haven't seen you in almost 5 years, and before that was like 5 years of high school. Like, anytime someone says Izzy, you're the first person I think about. And in my neighborhood, Izzy is popular. So I'm just like, you're the man. I fucking love you. And then he would say the same thing back, and it was an awesome, bonding moment again. I was like, man, I can't wait to hang out with you again, and I'm just so happy to see you. And we would text every once in a while, and that was it. And then one of my friends calls me. I was like, what is he? What do you mean Izzy's dead? Which is he? And they're like, long hair Izzy, all this stuff. I'm like, oh man. Like, eventually I remember running crying when I was at Lex's house before, because I just knew, I was like, man, I got two close people that I really enjoyed that passed away. But I was much happier with Izzy's death than was my father's. Yeah, there's obviously closeness in the relationship with my father being super close to me, Izzy being a friend, but it's a fact of, I was really happy with his death because I got to rekindle that relationship. I got to say like my final words and really express my feelings. I'm like, dude, I fucking love you. Like, you're awesome. I missed you. Like, you're the reason why I acted in certain ways when I was in junior high and high school, because you were so cool. Like, you're the kid I looked up to. And then, now I see you today, and now we get to talk one-to-one. It's like seeing, it's like a fan talking to somebody that I idolize. So I got to express my feelings. And once he was gone, I still had my moments. Even still today, I'm like, damn, Izzy was such a good guy. And he had like beautiful, long, luscious hair. Like, it was like all the way down here. It was gorgeous.
Twins?
Oh, dude, it was gorgeous. It was gorgeous.
Thanks for the compliment.
I was so,
you didn't have to say it. I'll give it to myself.
I was so jealous, but he was just such a genuine person. So anytime I think of him, think of my father, think of certain people, there's always gonna be bad times, but it's crazy when someone passes, you think of nothing but the good first.
Yes.
So that's why I'm like, man, get over grudges, have fun, and be as positive as possible, and know that no matter what happens in life, tomorrow's gonna be there. You just have to make it there. And don't be the reason why you don't make it there.
Definitely.
Because we're our own worst enemies.
Definitely. Wow, that was deep. I'm so sorry for the loss. I didn't know about Izzy.
But a lot of people have had. Like, I literally just got back last week from the funeral.
That was last week.
Yeah, it's one of those things that, again, even with George Husick's death, he introduced me to the kids I love and take care of. He introduced me to a wrestling team. Now I got to learn how to coach kids, which is a whole different world than coaching adults. I got to learn how to run a program. I got to learn how to take care of different kids that have different personalities, kids who are orphans, adopted, foster kids, whatever the case may be. And I learned so much from him through so much from those kids through so many years. I took care of them for like almost 10 years, which is crazy, So it's cherishing that moment. Did I cry? Yeah, it's part of it. But that's also one of the things that you have to accept. You're gonna cry. It sucks. And for a guy especially, it's like, oh, I'm a bitch or this. And it's like, dude, you gotta cry. Like, if you have to let it out, let it out. And it is what it is. Plus, girls like it when you cry, so
we love it.
It helps. But I just start crying right now. But it's one of those things that, like, you gotta be open to it and talk to somebody. And hopefully talk to somebody who relates.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, so, to your fans, do you have any message for your fans?
Looky here, brother. Just start doing the wrestling thing.
Howdy, brother.
Start doing the wrestling thing. You're never gonna beat me. No. One of the things I do like to say, I always say thank you, because my quote is, we can, we will, together we are Team Shorty. Without anyone's help, whether you were negative or positive in my life, you impacted me in some sort of way. Do I might not like you because of certain things? Sure, but I act the way I do because of that reaction. Do I love you? Yes, and I act the way I do because of that. So to all the people who support me, I appreciate it, but it's the fact that everyone's like, oh, Shorty, you're doing it. Yeah, sure, but why am I doing it? Because I tried. Because I actually got up. I still 100%, it took me years to now believe in myself, but I didn't realize how talented I was until years after all the success. Because I didn't believe it. I'm not trying to be like the cocky guy, but it's the fact of going, when I actually practiced and tried, now I became good. When I first tried, everyone sucks. I have film of me like, fighting like this with my head down, and that happened, and I look dumb. So when kids come up to me, they're like, "Oh, you're so talented now." It's like, now.
No.
If you watch film with me, I was worse than where you're at now, and that's you starting. You know, like I wasn't natural at it. I had good hips of being able to move because of dancing, but it's just the fact of like, I tried. I failed a lot, but I never gave up, and that was really because of my mom. My mom literally pushed me into classes, just like, nope. You said you're gonna go. It's like missing school. She never let me miss school. So it's the same thing. So for kids, for teens, for young adults, and even for adults now, try. And you know, you and I talked about it already. Russ had a quote, and you know Russ. Russ had a quote saying, if people thought they're gonna die at the end of the week, they would live their whole life differently. And for my father, who died at 54, he thought he was gonna die 3 weeks before he passed. Like he literally told my mom, he was like, "Babe, I think I'm dying." Those 3 weeks were the best 3 weeks of his life because he lived his life. He wasn't like, "Oh, I'm gonna stay inside and just die here." He was like, "I'm gonna fucking live free. I'm gonna bucket list it." No one knew. I mean, we didn't know because we think he had cancer again. It's a whole different thing. But he lived his life. The sad part about it was, it took him 54 years to do that.
Yeah.
You know, or 53 years and so many weeks. It's like, those last 3 weeks, you could have lifted up and just had fun. And he had no regret, no fear of judgment, no fear of neglect, rejection, whatever. He just did it. So people in general, have fun, do you, and try your best to live out your dreams. This might be where you start, and this might be your goal. Honestly, not everyone makes the goal. Sadly, it's like everyone saying, "I want to be a professional football player." How many kids in football say that? Almost all of them. How many make it? Practically none of them. I think it's like the percentage is like 0.03%. None of them make it. So it's the fact of they don't quit. They keep on going. Some of them make it here. Some of them make it here. And maybe they spent their whole majority of their youth, their life doing that. That's awesome. The reason why I appreciate that is because one, you tried. You believed in yourself and pushed through. And then two, look at how far you've gotten from where you originally started. And those people who stayed here, they don't stand still. You either get better or you get worse. Time is passing you up. So you're technically being left behind. How many people do you know still from high school are doing the exact same thing? I'm now technically, damn, this year will be my 11-year reunion. Like, time passes so fucking fast. So why waste it? Try and see where it goes and have fun. And then if people just want to reach out to me besides the YouTube series and comment below questions, they can just message me on IG. And then I make videos from there to be able to try to help as much as possible. So it's like a pay it forward program.
Perfect. Thank you so much for having me.
I appreciate it. Thank you so much, guys. If you have any questions, again, leave them down in the comments below. Appreciate it. Thank you so much to Danielle, the Pitbull, and I'll leave her link down below so you can follow her on IG and social media stuff. And I appreciate it, guys. Another episode of the Inside Team Shorty. Take care.